I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook and WTIM TV YouTube, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I have Women and Infant Children Program Family Case Management Coordinator Jane Griffith here in the studio. Great to have you along, Jane.
Thank you so much for having me back.
So let's review. What is WIC?
WIC is Women, Infants, and Children, and it's a program to help supplement food for our pregnant moms, nursing moms, and then infants through 5.
Okay.
It's based on income.
Right.
It's a quick process to get you enrolled, and then you get a little card and you can go grocery shopping with it.
You mentioned the women and children up to age 5, but specifically, oftentimes, who do you see among those women and children up to age 5 utilizing this service?
Most all of them. Once a woman gets on WIC with her pregnancy, most generally we're able to keep them on. There is a recertification once a year to check their income to make sure they're still eligible. But most generally, if you have Medicaid, SNAP, or Link, you're automatically qualified. And it's been a real blessing through COVID. They increased there's a cash voucher on that card for fruits and vegetables, which it's just to promote healthy eating for our families.
And when are there any application sort of periods, or is there a rolling application? How does that work?
If you call the WIC office and say that you want to enroll in WIC or you have questions about it, most times they can do it right then as far as get you the information and get you an appointment set up. It's a pretty quick process.
And what should mothers or women that are expecting know about signing up for WIC and maintaining those benefits?
Well, WIC it's a supplemental program. It's not going to buy all of your groceries, but it's also involves some nutritional education. You know, as you progress through your pregnancy, we're a good resource to help you find other things that you might need during your pregnancy. We work hand in hand with several other agencies for our clients, and have other programs in the WIC office to help you.
Specifically, too, once you there's a certain time frame that's really beneficial for mothers applying. We talked a little bit about it last time, I believe, with Kelsey.
Right.
Remind me a little bit about that. What is that time?
Sometimes if you're working, you might not fall in that restricted income level. But if you go on your maternity leave and it drops your level down, that's a good time to get on WIC. And at that point, we can help you out with you and your baby. Sometimes just picking up that other child, now having a new baby, would get you qualified for WIC.
What do you do in your capacity as family case management coordinator, Jane?
Mostly mine is the nutrition ed. When they call for their appointments, we talk to you every 3 months, quarterly. And it's structured to give you some handy hints as your child grows. And we can also help with getting you early intervention if you feel like your child's having delays, or reach out to some other agencies if you need some assistance.
Well, you mentioned how WIC really helps with the food costs, also the nutrition education. What are some of the other programs that you're focused on right now as you continue on with the year?
The LED program is a big program for us, especially with kids getting ready to go back to school.
We're not talking about a acronym here. We're talking actual LED, right?
Right. Coming in and getting a blood test. We're hooked with the laboratory out of Chicago, and we acquire the blood through a finger stick and send it to the lab. And a lot of the preschools, all of the Head Start programs require a certain number of lead tests. And we forget about lead poisoning. It's one of the most common problems that children have, and because we don't think about it, because there's so many other things as your child's growing up, but lead exposure to lead can be responsible for delays, health problems, academic difficulties, or a child, they think that it's a learning disability or something, and it's really a lead exposure problem. It's one of the most common yet preventable health hazards in Illinois, especially in our area. The state has certain zip code areas that they really push for us to get lead testing done, and you'd be surprised at the number of them that are right around here: Pana, Palmer, Tovey, Owanaco, Bullpit, Assumption. And it could be based partly on the age of a lot of the homes in that area. Any home built before 1978, that child would meet criteria for lead testing.
Why is that the cutoff?
1978. I think it has to do with, that was when we kind of discovered that lead paint that was used for a lot of porches and windowsills and exterior areas and stuff was so detrimental to our health.
And so that's when the regulations kind of caught up and said that, hey, you should probably not paint your house with lead-based paint.
Exactly.
And any house built before 1978, it's possible that it still has that lead-based paint on it.
Yes. And if a child comes in and has a lead test and it's greater than 5 with the blood that we get from a finger stick, then we have to send them to a lab and get a venous stick, because that can be a lot more accurate. So we always tell parents, don't get alarmed if their finger stick is elevated. It's a great system. If it's under 5, it saves them from that, having to get a regular blood draw. But if it's over 5, then they have to get that. And then if it's over 5 with the venous, then we have steps in place, home inspections. We send out a packet initially for parents to go through, because a lot of people have painted the inside of their house, but they forget about the windowsills. They're covered with the curtains. But little ones like to grab that windowsill to look out, and then what's the first thing they do? Fingers in their mouth. They crawl on the porch, or you walk on that lead porch that didn't get painted. You bring it into the house. The child's playing on the floor, lead in on their fingers, into their mouth.
Right. And lead is, doesn't necessarily have to be consumed to, have negative effects.
Right. And lead is something that once it gets in your body, it is stored in your bones and can stay there for a number of years, and you not realize it. So they follow up for a long time if a child has an elevated lead level.
I want to talk more about how lead can really impact kids and their development. And also, I really, really want to tell people about how Wic really helps with that. But first, let me take a quick break here. That's Family Case Management Coordinator Jane Griffith with the Women and Infant Children program that operates out of the Christian County Health Department. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. More from Jane after this short break.
WTIM. Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome to the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Glad to have you along. Your stream brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. I'm here in studio with the Women and Infant Children Family Case Management Coordinator, Jane Griffith, and we're talking about all of the different things that the WIC program that operates out of the Christian County Health Department, by the way, does to help people manage lead in their homes and the negative impacts of lead poisoning. It's great to have you here, Jane. I really appreciate you spreading the word about the lead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad to get to do it.
Yeah. Well, we talked a lot about some of the negative impacts of lead. You mentioned a lot about the developmental delay of children and learning difficulties and other stuff. But what are some of the more common signs? I guess that is actually the most common sign, but what are some of the other signs that you might not notice right away of lead poisoning? Do you have that on hand?
Well, that's the biggest thing. You know, your child brain and nervous system is being damaged, and you don't really realize it until they start with those developmental delays. They're doing some findings now that pregnant moms can pass some of those lead levels to the infant in utero.
No kidding. Wow.
So that's even scary.
Yeah.
We just don't think about all the ways you can get lead into your system. You know, the paint, the dust, the soil, we kind of talked about on homes, but some plumbing fixtures were made lead pipes years ago, you know, and that water runs through. Things that we don't think about, like some jewelry or medicines, glazed pottery that we eat off of, perhaps from another country. And then some of occupations, you know, automotive mechanics, then they come home and share some of that from their work clothes. Or folks, we don't have many factories around here, but, you know, in the bigger areas where there's manufactured jewelry or that pottery, that kind of stuff. Or perhaps it's a hobby. You know, parents lead, I can't think of, what do you call, you know, those beautiful
lead painting?
Lead painting.
You're right. Yeah. It's
And
like
when-
canvas painting.
And when you take lead and you put the paint in with the lead designs, you know, to hang up for the sun to come through, those are can be areas of exposure, you know. So they're starting to encourage moms to have a lead test during their pregnancy.
Okay.
And then they usually start infant testing at 1 year old. And then if it's normal or negative, you know, under 5, go to 2 years old. There is some talk in the state of dropping that 5 down to 2.5. So that kind of tells you how little lead is necessary in your system, or absolutely no lead actually is necessary.
We don't want any lead.
Right.
Well, who should get a lead test through the Christian County WIC program?
Okay. Anybody that has Medicaid or is not insured, there's no cost to it. If you have insurance, they'll bill your insurance. And if it doesn't pay, they'll work out, you know, enough just to cover the test. There's absolutely no profit made on the lead testing. You just call 217-287-7512, and you can set up an appointment. It is sent to Chicago, so we try to do them on like Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays so that we can get them set out. We don't want to send it and have it sitting all weekend, not ran. So if we send it on Wednesday, usually, you know, we'll have results Monday or Tuesday. Chicago tells you 7 to 10 days, but it really doesn't take that long. But everybody should really have a lead test during their lifetime.
So take me through once again the services that WIC specifically offers for lead in paint or any other thing regarding lead.
Okay, well, it starts with that blood test.
Okay.
You know, if you get that blood test and the one from your finger is greater than 5 and you get a venous test, if it's less than 5, then you're done. You don't have to do anything. If it's more than 5, then we reach out to you and we mail you a packet. of things to look at in your home to try to change. A lot of deep cleaning, clean the porch, clean the windowsills, check those things. Then in 3 months, we repeat that blood test. If it's still elevated, then there's a home inspector in the public health office that will come out, and they actually take scrapings, like scrapings from the porch, scrapings from the windowsill, scraping from the walls, whatever, and send those in to the state. And the state evaluates those and tells you where perhaps we found this lead, soil scrapings. I don't know. There's tons of scrapings. They come back with tons of little bottles. And then we know to help you, to fix those areas of concern.
In short, you will handle the blood testing. You'll take care of that. But then, depending on the results, you'll then also refer them to the other resources that
in our department,
in your department, that are needed to be able to address the lead in the home, the source of the lead,
the source of the problem, and get it taken care of so we can get that child's lead level down.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about the lead program before you head back to your busy workday?
Well, just give us a call. Don't be alarmed if you come in and you get that finger stick and it's greater than 5. I can't say that often enough because it's a very little specimen, and sometimes it does come back elevated, and then they go for the regular one and it's less than 5. So I don't want to cause mom worry. And the other thing is, if it does come back 5, you shouldn't hesitate to go get that drawn from the lab and make sure that it is, because we just don't know how detrimental a lead level in your child is.
One piece of clarification I want to ask you: do women or moms, expecting women or moms, have to be a part of the WIC program to receive these lead services?
No.
No
one
so
does.
It's anybody, as long as you have Medicaid or food stamps, etc.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Link, SNAP. Yeah. But we'll do a lead test even if you're not part of WIC.
Okay.
Just come in.
All right. That's Family Case Management Coordinator Jane Griffith. Thank you so much, Jane.
Thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
WTIM.